We've got more NASCAR silly season news to discuss today as multiple drivers have found new rides for the 2021 season, and it looks like the NASCAR Truck Series schedule might be released as early as next week. What's going on, guys? It's Daniel, and welcome back to another video. We've got a lot of NASCAR news to discuss for you guys today. Let's go ahead and just jump straight into it. The first thing we're going to talk about is Las Vegas Motor Speedway, as the Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority has extended the sponsorship agreement with Las Vegas Superspeedway, designed to keep 2 NASCAR races a year at the track through 2031. This right here has got me really excited, especially since the last couple races at Las Vegas Motor Speedway have generally been really good. And if the races continue to be good, especially with the next-gen car, and we get really good mile-and-a-half races next year, I really think that this is going to be a good chance that this could end up in the future being a finale for the NASCAR Cup Series season, especially if NASCAR is thinking about doing a rotating finale. I'm not sure if they're going to do a rotating finale, but there is a very good possibility that Las Vegas Motor Speedway is eventually going to get a rotating finale, and they can also work on getting this track updated. I know they have an Air Force base just outside the track, and Las Vegas is not that far away from the Las Vegas. The city is not really that far away from Las Vegas Motor Speedway. But, man, this is a really awesome move to see, you know. As good as Las Vegas is probably going to end up having 2 dates. I mean, this could eventually change. NASCAR could eventually change this, but the fact there is a really good opportunity that Las Vegas Motor Speedway is probably going to end up having 2 dates next year and through 2021. So for at least the next 11 years, the original agreement went through 2024, and now the official agreement is going to go through 2031. So that is really exciting news to hear, and I cannot wait to see for the next 10 years what Las Vegas Motor Speedway is going to bring to the table in the racing department and what they can do to promote it. Because, like I said, this could eventually be in the championship race. I know Phoenix is going to want to keep wanting their championship race, but I really think that Phoenix is Las Vegas really wants to eventually become the championship race here in the NASCAR Cup Series. And now we're going to get into all of the major NASCAR silly season news that take place. The big one that dropped today was Daniel Hemric. Daniel Hemric is going to be going to Joe Gibbs Racing's NASCAR Xfinity Series program, number 18 car for the 2021 season. It will be a full-time ride. Now, what has not been confirmed is the crew chief and the sponsorship for Daniel Hemric in 2021. But I am extremely excited about Daniel Hemric going full-time in the NASCAR Xfinity Series once again. He finally has job security for the first time since 2018 in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. He's been part-time this year, and I really thought he was going to get a win. But when he was up front and didn't have any issues, he was competing for wins. And Daniel Hemric does have a lot of talent, but one thing that Daniel Hemric has never done is he's never won in NASCAR's top tier divisions. I don't know if he's ever won in the ARCA West Series or the K&N West Series. I don't know if he's ever won in those series, but we know that he's never won a top-tier race. And this, I think, is the best opportunity that Daniel Hemric has ever gotten. You know, I think, like I said, Daniel Hemric is a very talented driver. I think he's going to bring a lot to the table, especially for Joe Gibbs Racing. And, like I said, he does have job security. Like I said, sponsorship has not been announced, but there is a really good chance that South Point Casino, Hotel, and Resort might end up being the majority sponsor. They might bring some of their other sponsors that Joe Gibbs Racing has. It won't be Monster now since Monsters leave, because we're going to talk about another driver here very soon. But yeah, Daniel Hemric going full-time. I think this is a really awesome move. Now, what are my expectations for Daniel Hemric? This is a win, or you're probably out of a ride situation. I think Daniel Hemric needs to win at least 1 race next year, maybe even 2 races, to have an opportunity of staying in NASCAR long-term. That being said, my official expectations are I think that Daniel Hemric is going to win at least a couple races next year. I think he at least wins 2 or 3 races next year. The Xfinity Series competition, the field is a lot weaker. You're not going to have Chase Briscoe next year, and you don't have guys like Christopher Bell, Cole Custer, and Tyler Reddick competing in that field as well, and Jeremy Nemechek competing in that field as well. So it is a little weaker. The competition next year for the Xfinity Series is probably going to be guys like Daniel Hemric, Austin Cindric, Noah Gragson, you know, a lot of really fast drivers. We'll be taking AJ Allmendinger as well. A lot of really strong drivers. But Daniel Hemric, in my honest opinion, he really needs to win at least 1 or 2 races next year to really have an opportunity to keep his opportunity in NASCAR. I think this really is his last chance. But this is the best opportunity he's ever gotten. And I really hope and pray that Daniel Hemric gets to keep staying in NASCAR if he does really well. Because, like I said, this is a best career opportunity that he's ever had. I'm really excited to see what he'll do. And I cannot wait to see what he'll do next year at Joe Gibbs Racing. Because of Daniel Hemric going over to Joe Gibbs Racing 2021, someone had to leave the organization. And that, my friends, is Riley Herbst. Now, Riley Herbst is not going to be returning to Joe Gibbs Racing for the 2020 season. He released a letter thanking Joe Gibbs Racing for all the opportunities at Toyota for the opportunities. Now, for any of you Riley Herbst fans, you may not be out of luck because it is being rumored, it's been highly rumored for the last couple weeks, that Riley Herbst is probably going to be going full-time as Stewart-Haas Racing's number 98 Xfinity program in 2021. Now, in my honest opinion, I really don't have as high expectations for Riley Herbst in this car as I did for Chase Briscoe in this car. Because Riley Herbst drove for Joe Gibbs last year, and Harrison Burton and Brandon Jones, who really wasn't great, but Brandon Jones and Harrison Burton outperformed Riley Herbst on a week-to-week basis. He did have some strong runs last year, but unlike Harrison Burton and Brandon Jones and drivers who drove the 54 car, he did not win a single race last year, and he was in a top 5 car and finished, I think, 9th or 10th on the points, so he really didn't have a great year. Now, what are my expectations for him probably going to Stewart-Haas Racing? I think that Riley Herbst is probably going to maybe get 1 or 2 wins. I actually think he will win a race next year because I still think the 98 car is going to be really, really fast. I'm not certain if Richard Boswell is going to be the crew chief for him, though. It could possibly be that Richard Boswell is going to move up with Chase Briscoe to the Cup Series and number 14 car next year. That being said, I think that Riley Herbst does really well. I'll be really, really happy to see that. But again, Riley Herbst has really not done that much in his career. That being said, he had a disappointing year himself, but has also some pretty bright moments as well. I mean, he got a second-place finish at Auto Club, almost beat Harrison Burton, get his first ever win at Auto Club, so that was really fun to watch. That being said, I really don't have like really high expectations for Riley Herbst next year. I'm keeping my expectations really, really low because, like I said, I haven't seen too much from him. I'm also not the biggest fan of Riley Herbst. I mean, he didn't do like terrible. I mean, terrible Herbst will be going over with him. But like I said, Riley Herbst really needs to probably do good, not just this year if he does return in 2022. If he does really well and returns to SHR, you better start performing well. Because there's a certain girl who has a Monster sponsorship. He also has Monster. He's been sponsored by Monster for quite some time. Hailie Deegan. Apparently, there has been talks in the future, long-term, that Hailie Deegan could end up going to Stewart-Haas Racing and replacing Kevin Harvick. So if Riley Herbst does not perform at that team, there is a good chance, especially if Hailie Deegan does really, really well in trust, that she can be moved up in 2022. But again, I really don't think Hailie Deegan's going to move up in 2022. I think she's going to at least be in trucks for 2 years. She's going to try to become more and more competitive, and I think she's going to win a lot more in the truck series. But I think Riley Herbst, his expectations are to get at least 1 win, and we'll see what he does next year. And now we get into the final silly season story from the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Brett Moffitt is going to be driving full-time for Our Motorsports in the 2021 season, which means he will not be returning to GMS Racing for the 2021 season. He released a statement earlier today talking about this. He said, 2020 was a learning year for the entire Our Motorsports operation and program is now ready to step up to another level. Brett Moffitt drove quite a few races. Didn't run the whole season, but he drove quite a few races for Our Motorsports in 2020. He had some really strong runs. And other than maybe the one run that Andy Lally had where he ran kind of top 5 in the race, Brett Moffitt was really the only one that was competitive with this organization. I really think Brett Moffitt could bring a lot to the table to this team. He's a very, very talented driver. And I think it's about time that Brett Moffitt got a full-time opportunity in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. I've been waiting. He's a lot older of a driver. He's 29 years old, so he is getting a little bit older in age. That being said, his talent is not gone away. He almost won the championship at GMS. He kind of trashed GMS. I think that's because he knew he wasn't going to be returning to GMS anyways. He lost the championship. Kind of trashed GMS. That being said, I am extremely excited for Brett Moffitt going full-time at Our Motorsports next year. I've been extremely excited because I know that he can really bring that team to playoff caliber organization. And I would not be 100% shocked if he does get a win with this team next year, especially if this team does get better. I don't know what their alliance is going to be. Maybe it's going to be RCR or maybe it's going to be a Junior Motorsports. I'm not sure. Maybe Hendrick Ennis. I really don't know what their plans are going to be, but we'll see what happens. I'm really excited to see what Brett Moffitt can do next year, and I'm really glad he's getting an opportunity. I don't expect him to win a championship next year with this organization, but I am extremely excited to see what Brett Moffitt can do in the 2021 NASCAR Xfinity Series season. And now we get into the final story of today's episode. Steve Phelps was on NASCAR Series 7 this morning on the morning show, and he mentioned that the 2021 NASCAR Camping World Truck Series schedule is going to be released in a week or if not sooner. So there is a really good chance that by next week, we are going to know the NASCAR Truck Series schedule. I am extremely excited for the schedule. I've heard some really, really interesting things. Now, one thing that I can confirm to you guys is that Eldora is probably not going to be on the schedule next year. It's been rumored for a couple months. They've been having financial trouble there at Eldora, and unfortunately, that race is not going to happen. I do think there is a chance that the Bristol Dirt Race could end up being, the dirt race instead of Eldora. So that's some real exciting news. It is expected that Gateway is going to be possibly the only standalone race next year. There is a chance that Nashville and COTA, we actually know that COTA and Nashville are going to be on the schedule. There's also a very good chance we might see for the first time in NASCAR Truck Series history in quite some time, we might end up seeing 2 Truck Series races with road courses, which would be really, really exciting. I think the drivers that are really good at road courses are going to be drivers that are going to be extremely strong on those racetracks. So, yeah, that's really exciting. There's a lot of exciting things. I've heard Langley Speedway has also been brought up as a possibility for the NASCAR Truck Series schedule. So that's something we're going to have to watch here as we get closer to this announcement coming out. But it's really exciting. The NASCAR Truck Series schedule is going to be released here very shortly. We know the Cup schedule has been released, and the Xfinity Series schedule has also been released as well. I think there's some exciting things, but there's also some things that we're going to have to watch again. I think there's going to be some disappointments to the schedule, but I think there's also going to be some really cool things that do come out with the schedule. And, yeah, we're going to have to wait and see what happens with the NASCAR Truck Series schedule. So, anyway, that is going to be for today's NASCAR news video. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe to the channel, turn notifications so you be notified when a video does go live on my channel. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Links scheduled below for that, and comment below your thoughts on today's video. How excited are you that Daniel Hemric is going to Joe Gibbs Racing for Xfinity Series program number 18 car for the 2021 season? Are you really excited or not? Let me know in the comments below. And what do you think about the NASCAR Truck Series schedule being released here very shortly? Are you excited about that schedule being released soon, or do you think it's going to be a disappointment? Let me know in the comments below. Anyway, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's video, and I will see you guys next time. Take care, everybody.